Why the housing market crash is fake news on the next Don't Bet the House.
Fake news.
All right, fellas, so we know we've been talking about the market a lot, and the more you watch the news, the more you see it's just a sad story every day. The market's crashing. It looks like bedlam here. So what's really happening?
Well, first of all, Mike, the news is bullshit. I usually don't cuss, but I'm just going to tell you the news is bullshit. But second of all, I mean, the market is not crashing. Is the market what it was 6 months ago? No, it's not. But it's it's like anything. It's ebbs and flows, and the market is not crashing. Things are changing. It's always going to change. For 3 or 4 years, it's a buyer's market. Then it's a seller's market. So it all depends on who you listen to. Right now, we've said it multiple times. Right now is the market for the first-time home buyer. It's not the seller's market anymore. The sellers are probably still getting more money than what they should, but it's not necessarily everything's not going $25,000, $30,000 over asking price. So it is changing. So if you call that a crash, then yes, it's a crash. But no, all it's doing is it's changing. It's shifting a little bit. We're seeing more houses on the market. We're seeing a change in the market. So if that's a crash, then yes, Mike, it's a crash.
I'll throw some numbers out at you. So from the Kansas City Real Estate Association, sale price of houses this October compared to 2021 are up 9.8%. So that's not much of a crash.
Sounds like a crash to me, Mike.
I mean, you see it that the average sale price is still going up. It's just not going up as fast as it was before. When you look at statistics nationally, in October, the median change of sales price year over year is only up 6.6%, which is still, we're up, statistically, we're up more than a normal year. Typically, your average increase in equity is about 4 to 5%, whereas, we're seeing it's up 6.6% nationally. You compare that to February of this year, you were up around 15.6%, and it started going down a little bit from there. So we're not seeing the gain in equity and appreciation at that rapid pace that we were, kind of at the beginning of spring this year. But it's not like we're seeing prices decrease.
Exactly. And I'll throw another number out at you here, and it's the absorption rate. So how many months of inventory are outside on the market in Kansas City specifically? This time last year, 1.3 months, so historically low. Today, 1.7 months, still historically low.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still low, and it's going to be low. I mean, we could go into this conversation, and everybody wants to know why it is or whatever. We could start from the bottom, which is, where does a house start? A house starts from being built, right? Well, obviously, 2 years ago you were able to buy an acre of land for $4,000. Now you're paying anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 an acre. Building prices, as far as the materials, has went up. So everything continues to go up, which obviously they're not building $300,000 houses, anymore. You talk about the median price of what a house was, 2 years ago, a year ago. All these things are changing, which is all it's doing is a compilation of things that is causing the whole market as a whole to slow down. But, I'm going to go back 12 years real quick of whenever I first got in the market. Every year they said you're supposed to go up about 4% in the market. Mm-hmm. We never did. We were kind of flatlined for several years. And then probably since about, let's say 2018, we've started to make that up. And we instead of, just taking the stair step, we just went straight up the elevator.
It's not a straight line.
No, it's not. And so either way, you get to the same place. Yeah. And I just think that's you have to educate yourself. And I think that's the problem with everything we do now is people, they get all this information and what's real, what's not. You talk about fake news. I'm not saying it's fake news. I'm just saying educate yourself, talk to a professional, and you're going to find out what you want to find out.
Yeah. Well, you see, the news where they get a lot of their businesses by clicking on, audacious headlines. And so, you talked about the supply, the month's worth of supply. We're up to 1.7, which is still historically low, but we're up 30%, 31% from last year. We're still historically low at just 1.7 months worth of supply when an average, a balanced market is at 6 months supply. So we're still we have very low inventory. Home prices are still, higher than they've been historically. It's just the way that the data is being interpreted and all these headlines that are trying to make it seem like the sky is falling when, we were at the peak of the market in May or June. Of course, we're going to come down a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of pullback. You cannot continue to have prices rise as rapidly as they were because interest rates were so low at the time. They've started to raise these interest rates quite a bit, and that's had some slowdown effects on the appreciation level.
Mike, I got a question for you, just because you brought up interest rates. You got a couple of years on me. So when you first bought a house, what was the interest rate?
It was 8.5%, and we thought that was a decent rate.
Okay, and you talk to people. I mean, we've talked to people who've been in this business 30 years. What did they say it was? It was up to 18%.
I vividly remember. Yeah, I mean, this goes back to the early '80s, but it was near 20%. So can you imagine that?
No, but if you listen to the news, what do they tell you? I mean, the rates are higher. Yes, they're higher. But nobody complains about going to the movies now and it costs you $15. Mike used to get in for a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that old.
We could go on about this all day, but let's move on to something else because obviously we all know that we could beat this horse to death here, and I just don't think it's going to work.
Well, again, anytime you could subscribe and like and leave us a comment about this, we'd love to talk about it. This is our passion, real estate. So we want to inform you. We want to get this information out there. We want to let you know it's still a good time to sell. It's still a good time to buy. Also a good time to buy into Brendon's bets. 4-2 last week overall. 22-10 on the year. How are you feeling this week?
Well, Mike, I've realized that I'm way better at selling houses than I am making bets. Because every week, it just goes downhill. So this week...
So you're saying Luke and I have been carrying this 22-10 record.
I mean, possibly. I'm not even for sure if that's really the record, but we're going to go with it.
I'd like to just go back and see what our actual record really is.
That's it.
There's a lot of things I keep track of, but my records and betting's not one of them. Well, anyways, this week, you know what, Mike? I'm going to throw out the wild card of the year. The pick of the week, the pick of the year. I know nothing about it, but I'm going to pick it. I'm going to take USA over the Netherlands in football.
I like
also
it.
known as soccer.
So we got the Beckham Peyton Manning debate here, soccer or football, but taking the USA.
Absolutely, and then I'm gonna bet on the Chiefs game, the Chiefs and Bengals. I'm gonna take the under on the game. I believe it's 52.5.
52.5.
So I'm going to take the under, and I just think, I think the Chiefs' defense, as we talk about, is a lot better than people give it credit for. I think it's a little bit of a revenge game. Mm-hmm. I think that, with Jamar Chase being out, I think that the Bengals are running the ball a lot more, and I think they're going to continue to do that. So I'm actually going to take the under on that one. So those are my picks of the week. I would bet on the KU Seton Hall game, but nobody's going to see it because we're going to put this on like Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So that doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, you mentioned Jamar Chase being out, but that's not what's going to drive the under. The under is Patrick Mahomes just had a baby. That dude hasn't slept in 3 days. He's going to be off. There's no way the Chiefs are going to be able to score points.
Do you want to bet money on that?
I think we're both betting the under. So
number one, Jamar Chase is going to play. Number two, I think Patrick Mahomes probably has some help with his kids. I don't know. I don't know. So. He's got to, he's not making that much money, I guess.
Did they hire you to help?
They did not. Oh, okay. But I'm available.
Okay, I thought you were going to be the new Mrs. Doubtfire.
Hi, Bronze.
What are you picking this week, Mike?
Whatever it takes. Well, first of all, I like the fact you went to soccer. That's my game. If we remember right, 2 weeks ago, I took Senegal at 50-1 to get to the semifinals and be the first African nations country to ever do it. They have just advanced through group stage, so they are now 2 wins from hitting that 50-1. So Senegal, again, I said, watch their dancing. It's fun, and it makes you want to drink. But my bet this week, let's go back to football, go back to local football, and it's the Big 12 championship game. I love K-State on the money line, even as a Jayhawk. TCU has been treading water all year, and they've won 8 games by 10 points or less. They were down 28-10 to K-State in the last game before the quarterback went down. I think this is the spot where TCU gets knocked out of the national championship picture, and I really like K-State on that money line. Plus 130, it's not a huge payoff, but I think it's a great bet. Luke?
Well, Mike, I had great success last week with the all-Michigan bet, taking the Lions to cover on Thanksgiving, and then the smash mouth Michigan Wolverines. You could see it coming a mile away. They were going to dominate that soft Ohio State football team, and so I'm going to go back with the Lions this week. They're at home. They play the Jaguars. They're getting a point, and so I think the Lions are going to win that outright. I think they're going to win by more than a point, and so I'm going with the Lions.
You've been riding the Lions a lot, and they've won.
They're great against the spread.
They really are good against the spread, and they've got some. What's the receiver they drafted from Alabama? Jamison Williams?
Yeah, Jamison Williams.
He's supposed to be like a Tyreek Hill clone, and he hasn't even played yet.
Yeah.
So,
don't you bring up Tyreek Hill here in Kansas City.
Yeah. The Lions have a bright future if they can keep it together. I mean, the other thing about the Lions is they have the Rams' first-round pick this year. So they're going to have 2 picks that are going to be, in the top 10. They have a good young core. I like Dan Campbell.
Yeah, he's doing a good job there.
He knows how to fire him up for sure.
Yeah, I like him.
You got to like him, yeah.
All right, well, next up, as always, we're going to go to Gambler X, Jackson Brett.
All right, welcome back to the lab. One bet for you. It's a parlay. Team USA to win in 90 minutes. Each team over 5.5 corners. And Weston McKinney to score anytime. A $5 bet will pay you roughly $875 on BetMGM. Let's go make some money, people.
All right, thank you, Gambler X. Another, as always, interesting pick.
That's your guy, man. That's your guy.
It's my guy. I bet on everything he says to do. I don't think the Phillies won the World Series, though. I'm still stuck on that one.
No, I don't think so.
All right, guys, before we finish up the show, we got a big game for the Chiefs. I know you already talked a little bit about it, but what do we think about this game? There's been a lot of trash talk actually coming from Arrowhead, which is very unusual for Andy Reid teams. What do we think is happening in this game?
I think that, obviously we lost to them last year, AFC Championship at home. I was there. I think I might have cried a little bit. I don't know. But anyways, I just think it's one of those things that, obviously. But I think it's one of those things where, somewhat of a revenge game. Got to go out and prove themselves and let them know, that the AFC still runs through Arrowhead. And I think they're going to make a stand and continue to roll. And hopefully here in a few weeks, we'll go ahead and lock down home field advantage and get this thing rolling.
This game is huge for home field advantage. If you win this game, the schedule gets a lot easier the rest of the way. So
this is turning into you remember when the Colts had Peyton Manning?
Do not say it, Luke.
Tom Brady.
I saw it this morning. Do not. No. Even Pat Mahomes said no.
It's turning into a nice rivalry.
But not that kind of a rivalry.
2 young quarterbacks that have both of them, obviously Mahomes is a star. Burrow has that, bravado about him that I think he's going to become a star like that.
Peyton Manning would have never dressed like Joe Burrows. Don't ever say that.
I like Joe. I like Joe Burrow's style.
Absolutely. Me too.
Well, I mean, the AFC is just loaded with quarterbacks because we already know that Josh Allen's an incredible quarterback too. So, they're all trying to catch Mahomes, though. Mm-hmm. I know Cincinnati's beaten the Chiefs the last 2 times, but they still have got to lift that Lombardi before they can claim the king title for Burrow. I think the Chiefs are going to go out there with a purpose. They've done that twice this year. It seemed like they went out there against the 49ers and the Buccaneers with the game you were at.
Yeah.
And they've just played with intensity that we hadn't seen all year, and they took it to them. I think they're going to come out and do that. The Bengals are a legit team. They are a legit Super Bowl contender. Yeah. And so it's going to be a great game.
I'm gonna go with that. I believe. I mean, it's going to be a good game. So I mean, it's just one of those things that I think we could discuss this all day, every day. Obviously, we all love the Chiefs, and we could talk about them, but it'll be a good game.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, that's where we're going to conclude the show there. Just remember to subscribe, like, and share if you can. We appreciate anybody that you can get to watch us, and anything you guys want to see, just leave us a comment, and we'll do that. Just
Mike,
remember,
I'm going to need you to tell them one thing, though, because the kids nowadays, they say smash the like button, okay? Don't just touch it. You got to smash the like button.
I'm old. Apparently, I was going to movies and there's a quarter, but smash the like button. Please do that. Let's make that the new theme. Smash the like button.
Yes, sir.
Well, anyway, subscribe, like, or share, whatever you do. Don't
Don't
bet
bet
that
the
house.
house.